So I think we can go ahead and start. Hello there, Mary. And I'm going to pray us in. So if you'd like to join me with your hands on your heart or sitting comfortably, reflectively, we take a deep breath. So grateful to recognize this sacred joining. So grateful for this divine appointment with one another, with spirit, with our higher self. So grateful for this platform, this community. We thank you, Jennifer, for holding this energetically for us all, creating this, allowing this, and giving people like me opportunities to step in, to step up, to be of service. And we're grateful right now to consciously place on the divine altar all fear, known, unknown, all blocks, all resistance to knowing the truth, to knowing who we are, to being who we are. So grateful for this opportunity to be in fellowship. So grateful for Ted for coming to offer his gift of music. So grateful for kironJ for coming and offering her message, her wisdom, her grace. We're grateful to open ourselves and be fully receptive to the gifts that are available today in this joining. And we are declaring that healing is occurring, purification is happening, and that our return home is imminent. It's happening. And we're grateful to come together and for the power of our joining. And as we receive gifts here today, we go forth to freely share them, open-hearted, freely, generously, with the one, our precious brothers and sisters. So we let this be with deep gratitude. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Okay, so we're very grateful to have everybody and anybody who's listening on Facebook or joining in later. So I'll just introduce myself briefly. My name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah, and I've been with the ministry a decade now. It's really cool. And I tell this story often that I joined the ministry when I moved to Zambia to work and live, and I knew no one there, so I had a lot of time. And I came across Jennifer's program because I brought the course with me, like, let's give this another go, let's crack at it. And I looked for support, and I found this Living A Course in Miracles program she did, where she interviewed a panel of teachers, and my mind was blown. And I remember, since I was in Africa and we were doing like instant teleseminar then, we weren't on Zoom at that time, 10 years ago. And I remember joining people for a happy hour, a classic happy hour one day, and joining these wonderful women and saying, hey, well, would you guys like to come to a spiritual happy hour at my house? And what I did, because I had joined Masterful Living after the Living A Course in Miracles series, and what I kind of did is I made my own little group, and I had my little iPod at that time, and I'd put it on a speaker, and I'd play our weekly call, and we'd play it on a Sunday, and we'd talk about it. So this is kind of like a beautiful, similar way of coming together and sharing truth teachings. But, 10 years forward now, one of the cool things that's happened is when I joined Jennifer's Masterful Living program 10 years ago, so did this couple, Rich and Karen Carruthers, who lived in Oklahoma City. I love telling this story because they lived in Oklahoma and I was in Zambia when we joined. And then somehow Spirit moved us a couple years later to the same town. And now we're still all both in the programs, and we live in the same town, and I swim at their lake. And so, I, over the course of a decade, have had just so much growth and transformation, but the depth of the community that I have, that I actually can go over and go swimming at one of my classmates' houses. And just so many things that have taken place. But I work for the ministry since 2014, and I'm just so grateful to be part of this and to be here and to support Jennifer being able to do other work. And I'm grateful to introduce and to welcome Ted and kironJ today as our musician and speaker. And we will start with you, Ted. I'm going to introduce you. I'm very happy to bring Ted on. Oh, we got a book first. Okay, wait, Ted, before you get to that, we got a teaser. I'm going to read your bio so people can know a little bit about you if they haven't caught you on our other episodes. So Ted is a Masterful Living alumni, but he's still very active in the ministry, and he's one of Jennifer's most dedicated yogis in the morning when she does her morning yoga. So Ted considers himself an approach coach, sharing his story with music. Oh, I lost you there, Ted. Here we go. I'm trying to be fancy. 25 years as a NSAI coordinator, that's the Nashville Songwriter Association International, conducting local workshops in Northern Ohio and Southern Michigan region. Ted is trained in bereavement ministry and has performed for national bereavement ministry conferences. Ted's music includes messages with ACIM topics for students and fellow sojourners. And Ted is grateful and thankful for any and all who find any measure of comfort and direction in his songs. So Ted, happy to have you today.
Happy to be here. I hope the sound check works out good. I had Bridget gave me a sound check on my laptop, and it worked great before, and then it crashed. So I'm on the iPad, so I'm hoping that you
Looking
get a
good,
good
sounding good. Sounding
Does
good.
it sound good?
Yeah.
How's my hair look?
Perfect.
Okay, good.
No hair out of place.
I was flashing this little book. One of our regular students is the writer of this book. It's a children's book, Conscious Baby's Alphabet.
Oh yeah.
Amy, good job. Just a shout out.
Oh, great.
If I need to pay for that advertisement, I will, and then I'll just send Amy the bill. So, hi Amy. So, it's so good to be here. It's been a whirlwind. kironJ, wow, how sweet. Well, I never really choose what I'm going to sing. I trust in the spirit, so I don't know what the topic is, and but I'm sure it's going to have something to do with love. There's a need to talk about it, though some have climbed mountains and shouted, love. We're gonna talk about love. For no matter what we do, before this life on earth is through, we'll need to share love. Men let pride get in their way, caught up in living the everyday, too busy to stop and think what life is about. Make a living, climb to the top, could have life's true fortune if they'd only stop and take the time to give and take love. For no matter what we do, before this life on earth is through, we'll need to share love. We need to share love. We need to share love. How's that?
Beautiful. Thank you, Ted. Okay, your music does something to me. I don't have the words for it, but it's so nostalgic and so Beautiful. Thank you for starting us off, Ted. And we'll see if you're correct about our topic. But yeah, thank you for opening our hearts. Thank you, Ted. Okay, so now I'm excited to bring on kironJ. We're so excited to have you. And I'll give an intro if it's needed. But kironJ has been a speaker here many times, and we're so blessed to have her programs in our ministry. And we'll talk about her upcoming program today too. But for some background, kironJ is a Course in Miracles teacher based in the UK. She has a passion for an experiential approach to studying the Course and loves to help others find their own relationship with the love that flows through this profound spiritual teaching. kironJ offers workshops, classes, and one-on-one support, and has worked with other teachers such as Nook Sanchez and Corinne Zupko. She deeply appreciates the gifts of collaboration, finding such enjoyment and healing as spirit works through them. kironJ met Jennifer in 2019 when they were both speakers at the UK ACIM conference, and this has led to a beautiful friendship. kironJ has led many workshops and classes for the Power of Love Ministry in recent years, with an upcoming 6-hour, highly experiential class, Anger, Peace, and Miracles, which begins September 24th. So excited to have you, kironJ.
Hello, Angela.
Hi.
It's very, very lovely to be here again.
Yay.
Yes, I so enjoy these gatherings, and it's an absolute honor to have this slot as a speaker. At first glance, what we're going to be doing now might not look like it's got anything to do with love, but it absolutely does. I'm inviting us all into an exploration on anger. Does it matter if we're angry? And if we are angry, is there anything we can do about it? So this is setting the scene for the next 25 minutes. So, have you ever experienced anger? Anyone here who has never experienced anger? I suspect not. So let's assume that we all have experienced anger at some stage. But would we call ourselves an angry person? So let's ask at the beginning here. In general, how angry a person am I? And let's give ourselves a number between 0 and 10. 0, no, 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 I'm just not an angry person. Up to 10, yes, I'm flat out furious all the time. Where are you on that scale? I'm going to ask again a bit later on. So anger is part of the human emotional landscape. It comes in many forms. We have a staggering number of words to describe different types of anger. I'm going to give us a few. And as I say each one, perhaps you'd like to ask yourself, have I ever felt that particular type of anger? Here we go. Annoyed, irritated, indignant, resentful, raging, furious, fuming, maddened, ranting, put out, sulky, belligerent, bitter, biting, sarcastic, sharp, spiteful, cranky, cross, vitriolic, acerbic, displeased, disgruntled, dissatisfied, argumentative, quarrelsome, in a stew, in a tizzy, short-tempered, whining, grumpy. So there does seem to be different levels of anger. Disgruntled does not seem to be the same as raging. Ranting doesn't seem to be the same as sulky. If I asked you, how angry are you when you're a bit grumpy? On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being flat out furious. How angry are you when you're a bit grumpy? How angry is a mother shouting at her child? 0 to 10. How angry is someone who is committing murder? 0 to 10. It's quite likely that you would give different numbers for these 3 different scenarios. But we bring in now A Course in Miracles and its supreme teaching on anger. This is from lesson 21. The degree of the emotion you experience does not matter. You will become increasingly aware that a slight twinge of annoyance is nothing but a veil drawn over intense fury. What is it like to consider that there are no degrees of anger? It is all intense fury. Would you like to think of your days so far? Any twinges of annoyance? If not today, think of a recent twinge of annoyance. What is it like to consider that your reaction to whatever was going on was really intense fury? Let's give space for the idea that if you ever have twinges of annoyance, there is intense fury in you. Or from A Course in Miracles. Anger recognizes a reality that is not there. Yet is the anger certain witness that you do believe in it as fact? This is the payoff of anger. It makes this world seem real. So it makes our personal identity seem real. The ego loves anger. The mind that's choosing to be an individual self loves anger, no matter what the person says in the experience. So let's go further into this. 3 quotes from the Course. Anger but screeches, guilt is real. All anger is nothing more than an attempt to make someone feel guilty. Each seeks relief from guilt by increasing it in the other, for each believes that this decreases guilt in him. Here we have a clear link between anger and guilt. Anger makes guilt seem real. And very often, the guilt is placed in another, not me. So let's do a little recapping and go further. We're likely to be far more angry than we realize, because we pretend that mild irritations are just mild, not really angry at all. And we're angry because we see wrongdoing in someone else or something else. If they are guilty, we can seem to be the innocent victims of their wrongdoing. So we're looking for an experience of innocence while still choosing to be separate from God and identifying as a person in a physical world. We are looking for an experience of innocence while keeping the cause of guilt. This makes anger so highly attractive. Doesn't matter, in you, in me, as long as it's there somewhere. Sometimes we go for strong and outward expressions of anger, shouting and screaming. Everybody knows about it. Sometimes we go for muted and stifled expressions of anger, silent and seething. And sometimes the guilt isn't projected onto others, but turned inward on our personal self. So it comes in the form of sickness and self-sabotage. Shouting, screaming, silence, seething, sick, sabotaging, all with the same purpose of making the world seem real, making us as people seem real. And the different forms of anger are powerful ego propaganda for differences being real. If differences are real, then we can indeed be different from God. We can be different from our one self as Christ. The ego loves anger. Let's ask again. In general, how angry a person am I? 0 to 10. Is it the same number that you gave at the beginning? So let's explore further with a situation from your own life, in your own life. Maybe you'd like to close your eyes for this. Bring to mind a time when you consciously felt intensely angry at someone. What was the wrongdoing of the other or the others? Did your anger seem justified? Did you feel an innocent victim in the face of what they were doing? As you sit here now, can you detect that there was a wish to control the others, by being angry, so they wouldn't do it again? Can you detect there was a wish to punish the other by being angry? Can you detect there was a wish to cover sadness about the conflict with your anger? Did anger seem a stronger place to be than sadness? Can you detect there was a wish to cover fear that you could be abandoned with your anger? Did anger seem a stronger place to be than fear? So another ego gift of anger is that it can seem to give us strength and avoid feeling powerless. Even being sick can seem to give us the power to get others to look after us, give us attention. having accidents, bad luck, all anger turned on ourselves. It's the same thing. We're trying to find a power. Give me attention, feel sorry for me, look after me. But actually, the opposite is the case. Anger is always the result of rejecting our true strength and power. The Course teaches, when you attack, you are denying yourself. All attack is self-attack. We can't possibly be strong if we're denying our true self. And we do that in getting angry. Lesson 196 in the Course. This is paragraph 1. The title of the lesson is, "It can be but myself I crucify." When this is firmly understood and kept in full awareness, you will not attempt to harm yourself, nor make the body slave to vengeance. You will not attack yourself, and you will realize that to attack another is but to attack yourself. You will be free of the insane belief that to attack a brother saves yourself. And you will understand his safety is your own, and in his healing, you are healed. This human experience is our mind's dream, deliberately chosen by the mind in all its details. We play out the trauma of separation through being a person in a physical world. The mind wants to see the pain there, rather than accept that all pain in all its forms comes from a decision, our mind's decision, not to be our true self. The last closing quote from A Course in Miracles. When you are willing to accept sole responsibility for the ego's existence, you will have laid aside all anger and all attack, because they come from an attempt to project responsibility for your own errors. This is where A Course in Miracles is leading us, to take responsibility at the mind level for the whole of our experience and not use anger as a strategy to maintain separation. So does it matter? Absolutely it matters. If we have anger in our minds, we cannot be at peace. Is there a way through, a way out? Is there healing on offer? Absolutely. If we have the courage and willingness to look and see what is there in our ego mind, then we can claim the power to choose again. Then we can decide to open our minds to spirit and see there's no one out there deserving our anger. There's no reason for it. And this brings peace and it brings miracles. So we will be exploring this in more depth on Saturday, the 24th of September. I'm so delighted to be leading this workshop again. It'll be the 5th time that I have led an anger, peace and miracles. And it's been fantastic, profound work in all the other workshops. And I can only imagine it will be the same again on the 24th. So I'm sure the link will go in the chat where you can register and find more information. I hope you found this exploration helpful in its own right, whether you come to the workshop or not. Thank you very much for joining me in this. And I'll now hand you back to Angela.
Thank you, kironJ. I feel like it's like the most reverent applause because you took us very deep. And we want to stay there for a little bit longer. Thank you so much for the journey you've taken us on. Right. And so now is the time that we can take this into our heart or have a moment to see what has come up for us. What ahas have come to you from this journey that kironJ has guided us through? Just really sitting with it and holding on to what stood out. And possibly that there's any guilt arising for our participation in anger as a ploy or a trap or a way to keep us on team separation. And let us recognize that that's once again a ploy to keep us on team separation, to feel guilty for our mistakes. And let us shift to gratitude for the awareness we had, if further awareness has arrived, at the way that anger is a tool for separation. And I love the word propaganda. It's the ego's propaganda. And let us give thanks that we have more awareness. And let us feel within us if there's a new way we'd like to phrase this, a new decision we're making, a new commitment in those moments where it would be easy for us to demonstrate or exhibit some aspect, some flavor of anger. Is there a new decision we're making? And partnered up with our mighty I am presence, what other options are there? Is there, how do we get to team love? How do we find team oneness? And knowing that it's possible. knowing that in truth it's truly we're angry that we're leaving team oneness in that moment. And so just breathing in, feeling into it a bit more. What is it you'd like to share in the breakout later? What is it you may want to take to meditation or contemplation from this talk today? And once again, giving thanks for the awareness as being the pathway to healing, to wholeness, to restoration of sanity and oneness. And Ted will invite you in. You can take your time. I imagine it's quite a shock to have to move into playing music. So take your time. And when you feel ready, it's all yours.
Wow. Thank you, kironJ. There's a pendulum in writing that goes from things that you actually craft, and then there are truly inspired songs that come from the divine. And this is one that is probably the most divine writing I've ever done. Woke up in the middle. I woke up with this song in my head, went down and recorded it, went back to bed, and got up in the morning, and like a lot of dreams, a lot of inspirations and things like that. I couldn't remember even what the song was. I knew what it was about, but there was no melody and the words didn't come. And like I mentioned on the onset, I don't pick what I'm going to play. But lesson 21, all anger is intense fury. Thank you for that one. I'm going to share this one with you. It's a shame, it's a pity, bloodshed in a poor city by an angry young man. There's an outrage and fury, courtroom and jury, the boy's sentenced to die. In the bars they're rejoicing, buying drinks, and they're toasting as the mothers cry. What can we do, me and you? What can we do in a world torn in two? Across town in a post office, another deadly caucus takes an unborn life. Window crashes in the room, the blast is their doom, and more mothers cry. As ships on the horizon are guided by wise men protecting our lives. Their call is no surprise, let the rockets fly, more mothers cry. What can we do, me and you? What can we do in a world torn in two? On a cross upon a hill, living out his father's will, the young man dies. Friends gather round and stare at the mother's fallen tears under blackened skies. They sigh, what can we do? Me and you. What can we do in a world torn in two? Then the mother cries, we love, 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 we love.
Thank you, Dad. That's so powerful. Beautiful.
I hope it came through okay. Just my
Yes.
iPad. Yeah.
Came through.
9/11 today. So that's a powerful song for that. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Somehow you share with your whole being and it's so relaxed. Don't know how you do that. Thank you. Very powerful. Wow. Well, we're taking this into the breakout for whoever would like to stay. If it's your first time here, the breakout is an opportunity to take what's come to you and have a discussion about it, move it forward in your life, make it more grounded, anchored into your awareness. So the breakouts are up. You can go, you can listen, you can share. We just ask that everybody gets a chance to share. And since I'm doing both here, I'm just taking a peek here. There's lots of shifting that goes on here at this time. And then we'll try to adapt to it. So we'll be heading into the breakout. And I feel like the topic, I like to just keep it open. What spoke to you today? What's speaking to you in your heart? Where are you being called to bring more love in? What are you being called to leave behind, to step into? Whatever it is you would like to share, we'll do that. So we're going to go in and here we go. Okay. I'll give this a moment. Okay, so give me just a moment. I might be able to fly a rocket to the moon soon with all this. No. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, well, welcome. Thanks for staying. Hi, Faith. So glad you could be here. And I guess we'll start with you. You haven't had a chance to share anything yet today. If you don't mind just sharing what you'd like to from today's service.
What a rich service. kironJ, I am so, I think we're all overwhelmed a little bit with the depth that you went to and what you opened up, the ideas, how large this is and yet how subtle it is at the same time, which is what the human experience kind of is in so many ways, that we're walking through this thing that seems so large and yet it's nothing compared to what our real life is, the spiritual life. And what came up for me, and so many different things. I also wanted to say thank you to Ted for being so in this moment, like just saying yes to what was leading you. And that song was really powerful that you just sang. especially today, I'm getting a little bit emotional thinking about how this day in America brings up so much for people here, and that the answer is love. But kironJ, for me, like I said, go back to what I was thinking. It was about when things don't go the way I want, the way I think they should go, I get irritated, right? Then I can go and get angry. And it doesn't even matter if it's projected out on someone, absolutely, but it's really a reflection of what's going on with me. I'm irritated that I can't, that I'm not measuring up, or that they're feeling like I'm not doing, that if everything was working right in my life, then I wouldn't get irritated. That I must be doing something wrong, that I must be, I must not be doing the right things, or maybe if I had a better spiritual practice, or if I had, whatever the list is. And then I recognized that I adopted this kitten who's right here on my lap, and she's just got spayed, and she can't jump or run or anything, which a kitten, that is their favorite thing to do on the planet, right? It's like running and jumping and playing. So she jumped off the chair that she was sitting on with me, and I got irritated and a bit angry. And it was really my feeling of powerlessness that I couldn't protect her. And it really comes from, I see how many different variances this takes, this separation that I can move into in my life. And so what was wonderful about this talk today, and I'm sure that your workshop's going to be amazing as well, is that it allowed me to take a look at the different ways it shows up in my life. I loved all of the different words for anger, cranky. I'm just a little cranky. It's okay. I'm cranky today, right? And the crankiness comes from, often for me, is that things aren't going the way I want them to, the way I think they should go. Either I'm not feeling well, or something financial, or someone didn't call me back, or, that I have a lot on my plate and don't have enough time. I could go with the endless things that I could say that are leading me to feel cranky, which is separation. Absolute separation, because all is well at every single moment. And when I'm saying that, I can feel my body just shift. Something shifted in my body right now. I didn't feel like I had to do anything anymore. I could just be in that reality of all is well. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Faith.
There she is.
Oh, I mean, oh
She-
my gosh. She has like a shirt on?
Well, because she got spayed and she can't. It's better than the cone. She did not like the cone.
That's so sweet. It's like a little onesie.
When I put it on her, I was like, I don't know. Like now I know my kitty likes to wear clothes. So there.
Okay, well, this is.
I think there's a song in there somewhere. My kitty likes.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you want to respond, kironJ, or we've got this open space here. If anything came to mind.
Well, it's lovely to see you, Faith, first thing. Really lovely to see you. And I'm happy that you found it helpful, that it led you into some deep looking Yeah, and it's wonderful that you're saying it's all about me, really. If I was okay, I wouldn't be upset about this, that, and the next thing. And that's absolutely true. It really is true. And the course goes very deep with this, which isn't for everybody, of course. And perhaps I can just move sideways for a moment. I thought your holding after the what I gave, and Angela, was perfect. You were so gentle, so supportive. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. I really, really appreciated the meditation you took us into. But yeah, to come back to you, Faith, the course is saying, as a person, thinking we're a person, we never ever will be okay with ourselves, because this isn't who we are. We'll always feel something's wrong. I've done something wrong, I'm not good enough, I should have said that. And not to mention what everybody else is doing and they're not doing it right. There's always a problem. There's always something going wrong at this physical level. And we can try and try and try and fix it, get all our ducks in a row, but it ain't gonna work. Might seem to for a while, but it will only be an illusion of peace. Won't be true peace. And we can only come to the awareness it is possible to let all anger go. But that's only if we are opening and truly desiring our true self, who we really are. As a person, we've stepped out of that, and something's going to be wrong, because it is wrong. It's not who we are. And we're all on a journey, the Course would say, in opening up to that. So progress, not perfection for most of us, but the fact we're making progress is brilliant and miraculous. So yeah, thank you, Faith.
And thank you for that, kironJ. The fact that we're making progress is brilliant. You know, that is, and that just fills me up. Yeah. Thank you. That's just such a beautiful.
Yeah. I think I mean, work in progress, very much going on here rather than perfection. But I can see the deeper and deeper I go into healing of this mind, this seeming mind. We can see it all. Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying, Course in Miracles, and we're practicing and opening, but it takes a lot of practice and a lot of willingness to really live what the Course is pointing to. And that's okay. We can keep choosing to go in that direction. And we'll feel more peace, more peace as we go on, more true strength, more true power, which doesn't mean we are attacking anybody. Yeah. Good, isn't it? It's really good.
Well, I love that piece of willingness too, which Jennifer also often talks about it, that it just takes a willingness, and that willingness to take that, like that breath in a moment, and center ourselves, and that willingness to then shift our attention, you know, and the willingness to give it to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. And to realize, is it okay, Angela, just rolling with this a little bit, but stop me, us, if you want to. When we start withdrawing the projections of anger, when we start realizing it makes no sense to be in the blame game, it's your fault. No, it isn't. I've made all this up. And we start bringing that back home, we can have a lot of turbulence in our own mind, because we put it out there because of the turbulence in our mind. We didn't want it. No, you be wrong. You be the guilty one. Let me be angry at you. Put it outside myself. And the healing is bringing that all back. And there can be times, which I know very, very well, when it's all a bit bumpy. because we're feeling the shock waves of the anger, rather than it being about out there. No, it's in our mind. And when we're willing to withdraw that projection or those projections, we are in the position when we can call so strongly on spirit and know that presence and know that help. And that enables us not to identify with the bumpiness. No, that's not me. I'm here with spirit. And coming back, and it can be released. This is fabulous, fabulous healing. So for anybody listening, and I'm listening to myself, there is a wonderful, wonderful process on offer, but we have to be willing, and it may not always be comfortable. And Ted, love your presence, love what you have brought, not wanting to leave you out.
Yeah, do you want to share, Ted? Really?
I found it very powerful that it's all, no matter what level, it's all intense because it's the same process. It's the same process of projecting it out there. I have just, the last 2 months have just been absolute crazy for me. You know, in a quick nutshell, you know, I come from a family of 9. My oldest brother has gone through a round of prostate cancer, and he's 14 years older than I am. And so he's doing okay. My sister, my oldest sister, Marcella, she died just a couple of days ago, a number of years back, of bone marrow cancer. Then my brother Frank died of lung cancer. And then there's brother Bill, who presently is diagnosed with liver cancer, and they're giving him 3 to 6 months. And then my next brother Marv died from cancer. And I was just diagnosed with cancer. So I had a wife that died from cancer, and my present wife has had breast cancer. She's in remission. I can't help but, you know, have the projection. I mean, my daughter, you know, had a spot of cancer removed. I mean, the whole cancer thing is just like surrounded my world. And I can't, I'm just going to take a little time to piece together the projection of how I'm projecting that into my world and back on myself even. So, but I do know that it is, I really love the idea of kironJ, how you went through the levels things. There's no level to it. Doesn't make a difference if it was, you know, my dog that died from cancer. If I am projecting that, or if I am holding on to that, it's no different than, it's the same trap. It's the same thing. So you're giving me a lot to think about, girl. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, it's wonderful that you can laugh, Ted, and I wish you so very, very well in this amazing classroom that you have dreamed up for yourself. Cancer everywhere. You're doing a really good job. Mind level, mind level. So the opportunity is stratospheric for you. The healing opportunity here really is. And I so wish that you can ask Spirit, show me the highest healing here. Show me the highest healing in this situation, which of course the Course says is not real. It's real at this level. On absolute terms, every one of your siblings is an extension of God's being, in truth. No cancer there at all. But you are in a situation where you can choose again from something that's going on in your mind, you know, a very distinct self-attack going on in your mind. You have a brilliant opportunity to be shown what's going on more clearly and choose again. Yeah.
Thank you. And the one thing I will add is that what is sunk down deep in my awareness is that this is a benevolent universe that's here to help us awaken, so that you can't get it wrong, Ted, you know, like you can't choose. It's going to keep guiding you to your healing. And that's part of why I feel with the anger piece is, like a thing that happened last night, and it hasn't happened in a while, but my daughter like peed the bed and we sleep together. And when she was just potty training, it was like the best classroom for my anger, because somehow I took it all personally. And then as I investigated or explored my thinking, it was insanity to want to make a young child guilty for something like peeing the bed. And especially she's not feeling well. We're like both sharing this other healing opportunity. And you know, when we explore, it's just like there's such insanity to ever wanting her to feel bad about it. But it happened last night. And what I noticed is it's just an opportunity for me to practice. Like, am I going to be,
I was just there. It's beautiful.
oh, 1 second. Let me just, oh, people are coming out of their breakout, so they don't realize they're still talking. Hi.
Fire, right? Your pants on fire.
Oh, okay. So okay. Anyway, so I'm grateful for this talk. You know how these talks always come right after you've had an experience and you're like, oh, this is just for me. This was just for me perfectly. Because last night I had this moment where, okay, and she had actually peed the bed 2 nights before. So here's what the thing is. So it was 2 nights in a row, my daughter peed the bed. And the first night I'm like, oh, honey, no problem. She hasn't done it in a while. Okay. So I was like, oh, no, honey, it's okay. We didn't mean it. And we take off the sheets and we deal with it. And last night was in the middle of the night. And what happened was I could have, you know, it's still available to me. Like, no worries, honey. You didn't mean it. It's still true. She never means it. And yet what happened is this little thought snuck in and said, you just cleaned all the blankets last night. You just cleaned them. And I was like, I just cleaned them, you know? And then all of a sudden now that's my theme song is, you know, I'm a victim of this too. Now I have to clean them again. So at first, you know, like my true self is like, all is well. You're innocent, I'm innocent. But I think life is just so perfectly designed that, like, you know, well, let's try it now 2 nights in a row. What will you choose? And it's like, okay, well, we'll still, this is still a practice arena for you because you're still taking the bait. But I'm not bad. I don't feel bad. You know, I also don't compound being angry with guilt of myself. It's like, okay, now I see. Oh, what were you believing? You know, because I love the Byron Katie work, because she always says it's nothing that you're not upset for anything. You know, really, you're not upset for the reason you think. It's what you were believing. It's not because of what anyone did or didn't do, or it's what you're believing about it. And I saw what snuck in was, I just cleaned the blankets. And that snuck in there. And I went with it. And I'm like, okay, I went with that one, but that one's okay, you won't get me next time. You know, Yeah, so this is obviously rich conversation. Our conversation spilled over, but hoping that everyone had a fruitful conversation in the breakout. Feel free to use the chat if something arose that's a new decision you're making, or an awareness or an aha that you're claiming. Put it in the chat so we can hold it for you and magnify it. And so please do that. And while we do that, this is the time we can make our announcements for the ministry while we have your attention. And just again, thanking everyone for sticking around through the breakout. That's Rockstar. So first, if you would like to, well, first I'll start with the programming. So kironJ is here, and we said we would put more information about her anger, peace, and miracles into the chat. So I'm going to put the link for that program here. And you can find everything on our events page. But kironJ, I don't know if you want to say anything. I'm not spotlighted. One moment. If you want to say anything further about the program that you think would be helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Yes, all encouragement to come. It's not going to put you on the spot. It's not going to say, will you shout and scream? Although it is highly experiential. It's actually very gentle. It's got such a loving intent, mirroring the course. Let's just have a look at what is there with no judgment whatsoever, accepting that as a person, we will be angry till we have gone through a deep healing process. The Course says that is true of everybody, whatever it looks like on the surface. Anger comes in many forms, as we were just looking at. So if this calls to you and you're thinking, not sure, what will I put myself through? Please come. Please come if it calls to you in any way. It's offering very powerful healing, I would suggest, because of the nature of the work. So yeah, that's what I would say. Big, warm welcome to come. The peace and miracles that are on offer are magnificent, and they're there for all of us. Yeah, so if you think I'm not angry, but I'm sick, do come. We were just having a wonderful conversation with Ted, not going into details now, but anger comes in many forms, and it can surround us seemingly, as well as be in us. Might not be me that's sick, it might be a whole host of people around me. There will still be anger in the mind that's experiencing that. So let's think wider here. Do come if it's calling you.
Thank you. And so it is a 6-hour class, and you get a 45-minute, kind of like a lunch break. It looks like a 45-minute break in the 6-hour period. And that will be Saturday, September 24th.
And there are 2 10-minute breaks as well between. Right. So, there's good breaks.
Thought out.
Even that's
yes.
a long time. Yeah.
Thank you. And I do see your very provoking question in the chat, Frank. So thank you for presenting that. Because I'm sure that's another very nuanced situation of how not to suppress our feelings, how to work with not suppressing versus transforming or transcending. So it might be you got to take that question to the workshop, Frank. Thank you for presenting it. And yes, thank you, Nabodi, for putting RIP Queen Elizabeth. That you can see I'm not a current events lady. I apologize. I could have brought that in the beginning. That's an oversight. Thank you for putting that in there. I know everyone, well, many people are holding that situation in prayer. So just to wrap up our announcements here, I think we'll just highlight kironJ's class, and then to let everyone know, as we usually do, that you can support the ministry and our programs by signing up for the inspirational daily text messages. And we do course messages every day, course quotes, as well as quotes from Jennifer's blog, her prayer blog. So there's that. And then if you would like to support the ministry in being able to put on Sundays with Spirit to help cover the costs of tithing speakers and musicians and just the other team members who put this together, here's the link at the livingacourseofmiracles.com site. And this is when I like to plug, we are about to launch 3 miracle circles. We have a few spots left. Miracle circles are weekly 1-hour Zoom calls. Everyone is welcome. It is a free offering, and they are facilitated calls. And really the whole intention is for people to come and share exactly what we've been talking about today, is your journey applying the teachings, and where do you get tripped up, and where are you having miracles that you would have a group to share that with. So here's a link where you can explore miracle circles, and there's an application at the bottom of the page, and we are still accepting. We have a few spots, but if those spots run out, we'll put you on our wait list for future launches. So I think that's it. Ted, I'll bring you in to see if you have any announcements. And I thought, Amy, we can give you a little plug here if you want to. People are now curious about your book, but let's see. All right, let's bring Amy. Amy, are you okay to do that, to talk about it for a second? And then we'll let Ted do his. So yeah, there you go. If you want to go ahead and share.
Hi, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Ted, for bringing it up. Yeah, the quicker story is, in the quiet of 2020, when we were all quarantined, I was literally in a moment of stillness, and I wasn't doing a formal meditation. I was just quiet, and my house was quiet, and it was early in the morning. And I just had this thought about, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a children's book that started introducing little children to some of these bigger concept words, like A is for appreciation. And then I defined what I think, how I define appreciation. And B is for beauty. C is for cooperation. I used intuition and receive and zeal and manifest, and the baby became my daughter when she was a baby. And so I wrote it really quickly. It was like 20 minutes. I've never changed the words that came to me in that moment. And then I just took a series of baby steps, which in the end of the book is the point. There's a little baby on the back of the book that says, because the path to a fulfilling life is really just a series of baby steps and these principles. And I think the purpose of it has been to introducing, children or those who are babies of consciousness to these principles, and let people take them where they want to take them. Do they want to turn it to organized religion or study A Course in Miracles? Whatever. It wasn't my place, I don't think, to tell them what to do with them. But I did baby step it, and I found through an interesting synchronicity an illustrator. And then I figured out how to e-publish it on Amazon. But then about 6 months later, I thought, I really want this to be in a hard copy, tangible book, and I'd love to have a publisher publish it. And I didn't know how to do that. And I just really said out loud, boy, I'd love to have this published. I don't know what to do. And no joke, I know I can share this here, within 48 hours, 2 publishers called me. And I thought, what? And it turns out that I had taken the time to get an official copyright through the US Library of Congress. Apparently, publishers scan that once in a while to see if new publishers want, or new people wanting a copyright need a publisher. But still, I just declared it. And 2 people called me. I interviewed both publishers. I went with my gut on one, had a wonderful experience. And this book now has been with a publisher. It came out in May of this year. They've got it in Barnes & Noble and on Amazon. And I'm looking to make some connections to help publicize it. I will point out real quickly, before it went to publish, I knew I wanted to help support a children or a girls charity of some kind. And I did some quick Google research, and I landed on an organization called Girls Inc. that started in the late 1800s. And they support high schools by adding extra programs for girls. It just helps teach them confidence and mindfulness and these other things that public schools can't teach. And I got in touch with them, and it was I literally just called them as a stranger and said, hello, this is who I am. Didn't hear from them for a while. And I was totally detached to the outcome of that. I thought, well, if it's meant to be, they'll call before I hit that deadline. And they did. And I got with the CEO of that organization. So on the back of my book, it has their logo and says a portion of the proceeds supports Girls Inc. of Los Angeles. And it's just been quite an experience. I mean, this isn't my day job, super passion project. I love babies and I've always loved books, and I'm just still waiting to see where it goes. So, and I ask for guidance a lot about as easily as the idea came to me, it can be publicized just as easily. So we'll see where it goes. But if anyone wants to check it out, yeah, I'd love to hear what you think.
Awesome, Amy. Well, you were ready with that.
Yeah.
And we got the link in the chat, and thank you for sharing. How wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ted, for mentioning.
Yeah, Ted got you in there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amy. Great. Well, that was fun. That was great. And so, Ted, here's your turn. If you want to add any announcements or anything before you share our final song.
Nicely done, Amy.
Thank you.
kironJ, thank you. This is something you mentioned early on, the bereavement work I do, and you'll see me now more in the Power of Love Ministry. There's a bereavement group that gets together, and also with Elizabeth Welsh on the trauma group that I will be participating in, because that is kind of my background, is the bereavement. And so my email, if anyone, I do have a MP3 of bereavement songs that I did a concert for a conference in Miami, and I recorded it, just part of like a keynote concert type thing. But anyone that wants to email me at Ted Swartz at Gmail, Ted with 2 D's, lowercase, SWARTZ. I'll send you the MP3s, and you get it in their bereavement songs. Songs that I had written from everything to do with Alzheimer's to suicide and death. They're not dirges, but it's free. If you just email me and put in the subject sparrow, like the little bird, I'll just email you. It'll come to you in 2 emails, 5 songs on each email, and just give them a listen and give me some feedback. I live a pretty sheltered life, so it's just nice to hear some that the music is doing its work. Okay. Now, do I do a song?
Take it away, Ted. Your song and then my prayer, and we're gonna. Thank you.
This is a very this is a song I just wrote. Just wrote this song when I just moved, and I'm sitting in an empty house just outside of Toledo before I moved to here to Columbus. The house was empty, and I sat in the middle of the family room floor, and the acoustics was just awful. Not awful, awesome. And I wrote this song. If I only had one wish to make, there would be no mistake. It would be love, 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 love. Love that would lift the hearts of man. bring peace to the land. It would be love, 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 love. The lessons in life are the burdens. Forgiveness is the first step we must take. The second is to realize our oneness. Trust and love in every choice we make. That's the power of love. So if I just had one wish to make, there would be no mistake. It would be love, 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 love. Love that would lift the hearts of men, bring peace to the land. I'd wish for love, 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 love. You heard it first.
Yay. Thank you so much, Ted. Thank you for sharing from your heart. Beautiful song. Yay. All right. Well, we're giving thanks for another beautiful time together. And this is when we can thank GJ for being behind the scenes. I thank my daughter for sleeping the perfect amount of time. And we will close with a prayer. Thank you, Amy, for sharing your gift with us today, too. And thank you, kironJ. We've stayed in that deep place, I can feel. Throughout the service. Feels so beautiful. So we'll close with, if you'd like, your hand on your heart. And just speaking that we are grateful and thankful for an opportunity to bring more light, more awareness to the many opportunities we have to choose love. So grateful for the heightened awareness of how anger plays a part in our healing, in our awakening, in our awareness. And we can use it to our benefit. And we are grateful for Ted for showing up, sharing from his heart, his gifts, his words. So grateful to reside in this vibration of love and to carry it forward into the rest of our day and to really know it as our being. We're grateful that that awareness is growing within us and that we can be a spark of light in this illusion. And so we thank Jennifer. We send a blessing to her and all the participants of Sundays of Stop Playing Small, all the healing that they're doing on behalf of the One Mind. We give thanks for that. So we are receiving the blessings, the healing, the gifts, knowing our worthiness to receive all the good, going forth to extend it freely from our heart with the deepest gratitude. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for joining in. Bye for now.